Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another VTuber song reaction. We have another one from Amane Kanata. This one is Oracle, and it was requested by Not Real But Real, which honestly just begs the question, am I real? Irrelevant. I need to listen to this song because apparently it has a lot of cool musical stuff going on, and I'm going to figure out what that is. So without further ado, let's go. Ooh. Okay. You have my attention. Ooh. Wide stereo mix. That acoustic is really far, just all over here. Kind of just a vibe too, I mean. Woo. That was really cool vocal layering there. Also the shift between the downbeat and upbeat. It's like this is on the downbeat, but the chorus was on an upbeat. That's a cool shift. Yeah, I really am seeing what they're meaning by interesting musical things going on. That's a lot of dialogue. That's a QR code. Oh. Another change up for the chorus? Still back on that upbeat though. I really do love that switch. That's really fun. Ooh. That was cool just from a sound design perspective there at the end. That was a really neat addition. Dude, this was really fun. While I'm not planning on discussing the visuals too much, I did want to give a passing mention to all of the Greek in here. There was so much Greek stuff. I mean, obviously, a lot of the general aesthetic was inspired by Greek mythology in here. And there's also a lot of Greek idioms scattered throughout here, little phrases that you would find in old literature, for example. So that was kind of interesting. I'm sure overall the song is talking about that. I was just listening to the music, so I wasn't trying to like actively translate any of it in my head. I only caught a few words because I can only speak so much Japanese and so quick. So like I didn't pick up the overall energy or the story on this song, but I wanted to listen to the instrumental stuff because that's kind of what the comment was pointing towards. And there's definitely a lot of cool stuff in just the music here and the mixing here. So I'm not even going to worry about the lyrics or anything this time around, but I just wanted to give passing mention to those cool bits I did notice throughout. I just won't be focusing on them. So I mentioned musically, this was really fun because it switches between a downbeat and an upbeat between the verses and the chorus. And that's just fun because it changes the whole feel of the song. By downbeat and upbeat, I mean the way that it's counted. So like downbeat, for example, would be the down rhythm every 1 1/3 beat of a 4-beat measure, and upbeat would be the opposite. Every 2nd and 4th is the upbeat. So when you're putting different accents on different parts of that measure, it makes the whole song sound completely unique from itself even. So it separates the verses and chorus really well, and it makes you feel an entirely different way when you get to that next spot. It kind of wakes your brain up in a very intriguing manner. So to put this into a more of like an audible way so you can understand what I mean, I'll snap for like the reason that this song works. So if I'm playing that main motif in this song, which is actually kind of cool in a way too, and I will be going through that, but if I'm playing this like that section there, that whole like do like the intro and all that, the way that it sounds different is if I count on the downbeat, you would get and like it would keep going on that. But if the upbeat is the count, which is what it does for the chorus, it's and it changes the entire feel. So that's just a really cool way to break the song apart, make it feel a little bit more alive, and can sound awful if you do it wrong. But this song does a really good job of just naturally sliding into it. It caught me off guard the first time, but once I was able to understand that that's what was going on, I was like, oh wait, shit, they actually know what they're doing here. Oh, that's cool. Not that I expected anything less of the producers that work with VTubers, because they hire some amazing producers. It's just all in all, I have seen this done before, and it does not sound or feel nearly as good, so this works really well. Even if it's just because this song, being a modern pop sound, is just naturally more susceptible for that sort of change, it lends itself better to that option because it's already so upbeat that you don't have to really worry too much about the overall feel of the song being affected, because it's already energized. You know, you don't have to worry about it sounding down and then suddenly sounding happy. The song is already being played in such a fun key and such a fun chord progression that you're like, hey, I don't have any problems here. And that'll lead into what I was talking about how fun this little progression is down here. It's a D flat, an E, a G flat, and an A flat. It's just those 4 notes. That's all it is, but it's just simple, you know? It's like, whatever, you go. Some of the best progressions of all time are the most simple ones. You don't have to overly complicate things in order for it to sound good. A lot of the time, simplicity is key in music, especially with pop music. Keeping those things a little bit more subtle, a little bit safer, more simplified is absolutely the key to making it work, you know? But what is neat about this is that the bottom note, the middle note, and the highest note in this make up the C# minor chord, which is kind of interesting given how positive this sounds. Usually, minor chords are meant to sound a little bit sadder, a little bit more melancholic, but that's not what happens here, and that's really interesting. And the whole chord, if you play all 4 of these notes at once, it's a C# or an F#7 sus, which is a very complex chord that just usually you don't hear a lot of, but it's a really neat, adds a little bit of crunch because there is those neighbors right there on those 2 flats, and it just sounds kind of different. You also get a pair of diminished and a minor pair there as well, so like there's a lot happening in just the notes being picked here, and I think that that is why this song sounds so good, because it's such a poppy, hype, happy song, played by such a relatively sad, melancholic, neutral kind of chord. A chord that you would expect in a ballad, not a pop-happy tone, you know? This is a really, really interesting one. And it's the first time, I think, for any of these VTuber songs, I've had something pop out in my head and go, oh yeah, I need to talk about this, because that sounds really cool. Everything else about the production was done well. It was well mixed, it was well produced, there were some fun elements in there, like again, that little like violin scrape at the end just to add some texture right at the very end. Super creative, love that sort of stuff. And there was also some interesting vocal stuff happening in there, like I mentioned that one spot of layering, but it's also like not really too notable, at least not to get in depth about. It was just some fun layering. There wasn't like too much else going on there technically. It was just kind of an interesting listen. But the rest of the song was otherwise a pretty standard pop song, and that's perfectly fine, especially when it's crafted so majestically around these really interesting sort of concepts like that chord, because like, what is happening here? It's just so simple. This song is a poster child for the term deceptively simple. It's something that sounds so deceptively simple, but there are such cool little nuggets of musical theory nonsense happening in here that nobody would really pick up on a normal day, but that's why people like me exist. So we can sit here and be dorky about it, share that information with all of you, and hopefully kind of breed a new respect for a song like this well after you've initially listened to it. I know this song is like 8 months old or something at this point, so it's not new necessarily. I mean, relatively maybe, but I've always personally loved hearing things from a different perspective, seeing things from a different perspective, and I hope that's the reason most of you guys watch these videos, is to get a different perspective and maybe be introduced to something you never thought of or never would have thought of. So that sort of thing is what I mean by deceptively simple. Something that is so simple, but it has some like little shadow following it around that's just like, they don't know. It's like the meme of that guy standing in the corner at a party like, they don't know I have this chord in me. Like, it's stupid, but this is why I love music so much. There are so many little things hidden throughout many songs that you would have never thought would have these really interesting approaches, and they totally do. You just have to know what you're listening for and be able to respect them. So I hope that in watching these videos, as simplified as my own viewpoints may be, given that I'm not a professional musician by technicality, I just am a dork and like to learn things, so I like to share what I know with other people. I hope that this breeds like a new interest in some other people, and they want to go learn stuff about music theory, and then so they can point this sort of stuff out to their friends, so I'm not the only weirdo going, oh, did you notice? Like, there's only a few of us out there, and we need to have more people who are musically literate in the world. So if this sparks something for all of you, I hope it does, and I hope you go listen to some more music stuff and learn more about theory and whatever else have you. But that's all I'm going to be saying about this song. There are so many other songs I have to get to. There was even another one from this comment that I didn't get to because I can only get to one longer song per day. But thank you all so very much for watching, and thank you to Not Real But Real for that existential dread in the intro. I will cherish that for the rest of my life. And if anybody else has any other songs from any other VTubers, or even the same one, for new songs to listen to and talk music nerd stuff about, be my guest, leave them in the comments below and I will do my best to get to them. And of course, if you just like this video and you want to see more stuff in the future, you know how to follow me and support me and all that, and I will see all of you in the next video. Goodbye!